Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirklin.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Intellectual stew.
informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew with James Kirklin.
I changed it up a little bit. Be comfortable now. Come here, Karen. Hey, Karen. Come here, Jimmy. Jimmy, what's up, man?
How y'all doing? All right. Hey, Karen.
And last but certainly not least, Miss Ash G. What's up, Ash?
What's going on?
I don't know. Just speaking, saying hello, man. Had to talk to you all day.
I was surprised.
I ain't talking to nobody today.
I was surprised you must have been occupied.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
I normally get at least a call on Sunday.
Did we talk this weekend?
We ain't talk Sunday or today.
We talk Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we usually don't talk on Saturday, right?
We don't.
Equity.
I need you to be consistent.
Equity. You gotta quantify it. It's the time, it's the day, what is it? You gotta quantify it. Oh, she got mad or nothing. I'm joking. No, she'll be right there. One more time. We wait on a few more people. Wait on a few more people. If you're in the chat, don't be rude, speak. If you're in the chat, at least say hello, speak, do something. Let me know you're there. What's that, Karen? I can't hear you.
Okay, hold on.
If you are in the chat, say hello, speak, share the thread, please. Oh shit, I'm supposed to be sharing right now. Let me get this one out. I still can't. You kind of break it up. Hey Jackson, that's my cousin. I'm trying to share this. Yeah. Share a few places. Share in a few places. Ask about us. She's not back yet. Oh, she ain't mad at us. I think she knows you, though. I love that organ part. Look. All right. What's up, everybody?
She says there's clicking noise in the background.
Who said that?
Jackie Gray.
Well, she probably hear the lick of that drum. Do you still hear the clicking noise, Miss Jackie? I'm sorry, let me turn that off. Do you still hear the clicking noise, Cousin Jackie? I hope not. After you there?
I'm here. Everybody was froze, so I was trying to go out and come back in, but everybody is still the same. So I don't know. Let me do something. Hold on. Yeah.
Move, Jimmy. I see you, Jimmy. I see your eyes moving. Karen, move. Let me see. Yeah, everybody's moving. I see everybody on our end. I don't know what might be your connection. All right, let's get it started. What's going on, Jimmy? How was your day, sir?
Great, great, great. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm glad to see everybody's in good health and good spirits, and I'm ready to have a good conversation to get a great outcome.
Great outcome. We're just gonna have a conversation. We'll see how that joker ends. Karen,
Yeah.
let's do a mic check. Hey, hello, Shantae. How you doing, young lady? Yeah, what's up? Give me a mic check. What's going on, Karen? You all right?
Good. I'm good, baby. How you doing today?
I'm doing real good. Let me turn this football game down so y'all won't hear my background. Ashley, can we hear you? Are you there, Ashley? We hear you fine and everything, though, Ashley.
I'm here. What I did was my I connected to my Wi-Fi instead of using my cell phone internet, which is doing its own thing.
Okay.
Ever since Sprint and T-Mobile merged together, it's just been horrible.
For real.
But anywho, yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Ain't no question. How was your day?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a little long. I'm surprised I was on time, but
well, hey, you always
I'm
on
here.
time. We appreciate. Even when you're not on time, you're still on time because you.
I be trying, honey. You know, I travel for work, and so
yeah.
I get off that highway, and I try to rush home and do mommy duties on Mondays, and so.
Gotcha. Did you cook today, or did you have to stop at McDonald's?
Don't try it. I did. We did. We did. My daughter wanted hamburgers, so I did fry a hamburger. I wanted one. She just wants cheese, pickle, and ketchup, but I wanted some guacamole and fried eggs and bacon and
jalapeno. You do it like that?
I mean, I'm not plump cause I don't eat McDonald's, sir.
No, okay, good. I haven't either. But man, you said a fried egg, guacamole. What else?
Fried egg, guacamole, jalapenos, bacon, cheese, and sweet. It's on a sweet Hawaiian bun.
My God,
that's like going outside to get it. I mean, that's like going to Taco Mac and getting a hamburger. That's good. Wow, I'm hungry again. I promise you, and I'm gonna be frying chicken tonight at 12 o'clock.
We know, Chad, honey. You stay on that chicken.
Hey, I ate at Golden Corral about 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna be hungry.
I don't mess with that Golden Corral, honey.
I just pray over my food.
You go right ahead and pray on my child.
That's the food about to receive that made after nursing and strengthening of my body. So that's kind of how I said. Hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing? Will you like this video? Will you share it? Will you share it? Will you tag some people? Put their names in the tag, and let's go ahead and get this conversation started. Let me preface this. You know, y'all know I put these little disclaimers out here every now and then, and I want to say this because I get calls from time to time. People, you know, none of our answers are absolute. I don't think I have all the answers. I really don't. This is really to facilitate conversation. This is not really. None of us are certified counselors, not that I know of, and therefore I'm not. You know, so don't hinge all your hopes on my words. But my only mission is to make you think. Sometimes I ask rhetorical questions. And with the rhetorical question, I'm not really looking for an answer. I'm really looking for a response. And the response is more so in just the thought process. So that's all I want to do is just make us think and make us look at things a totally different way. So last week, week before last, we were talking about ain't no love in the city. And somehow the conversation made a left turn. And we started talking about cougars and older men and younger women and older women and younger men. And then we kind of led into this conversation on age ain't nothing but a number. And last week, we really dove off into that conversation. And we went as far as to share several reasons why men might choose younger women. We really didn't look at as much as why women might choose younger men. But I want to kind of build on that conversation, and then we'll take it into another direction probably within the next 30, 45 minutes. I want the conversation to be pretty much organic tonight, just organic, and then just kind of see where it goes. Now, once again, everybody that's in the chat, first of all, say hello. It's Ruby. Come in and say hello, please, so I know you're there. Yes, ma'am.
I can't see the comments again.
Tell her how to see the comments. Did you have your laptop or something else with you? Something else you can look at it with?
Yes, I'm looking at my desktop computer. I'm talking to you on the phone. I'm seeing now you're live. You are live on. Yeah, we are live. I got that part. I can't see the comments. I could see the comments first time, but I think I couldn't either.
I don't know.
Okay, as long as you know. So let's go. Let's roll.
Okay, well, I'll try my best to get as many of them. I don't know if you have, maybe if you have another device, you can actually click on the actual feed and see. Jimmy, how does your view look? How are you able to see the comments?
I can see comments very well.
And that's just when you clicked in the link?
Yeah, I clicked on the link, and my comments are right here in the corner, right here. I can see.
Okay.
And you did the same thing. You clicked on the link that I gave you initially.
Yeah,
Karen.
in Messenger.
You're on the same link. It's the same thing you're looking at right now, Karen. Okay. I don't know. We'll try our best to kind of keep you abreast with the comments as much as we can. Okay. But last week, like I said, y'all see my new setup. I got off of that. I got my recliner. I had to set this thing up a little bit different. It started hurting sitting up on that stool for 2 hours. My legs be dead on me and all that kind of stuff. So I said, let me lean back, work with it, whatever you want to call it. Is that how you do it? Lean back. So that's what I did. But I want to let's go ahead and jump into this conversation. So Jimmy, when we left off last week, we were talking about why some younger women would choose. And Ashley's right back. So when we left off last week, we were talking about why some of the reasons why younger women might choose older men and why older men might choose younger women. And the one we left off with, and I want to go back into tonight to start off, is this one. And I want to, and I think this can kind of go both ways. What do y'all think about that? Are there times when a younger woman gets into a relationship with an older man because possibly something was missing in her home, and because something was missing in her home, she starts looking for what the void, if you will, what fills the void in a relationship, and if that void was a father, then they go looking for that father figure. Has anybody ever experienced that, or experienced that to be true?
I know a lot of people that women that lack the love from whether it be a male mother or father. And so the first thing that came along that showed them that air quote love or what they thought was love, then they ran or gravitated towards that. And a lot of times when that happened, they've been taken advantage of. I can't say there weren't any success stories, but for the most part, they were just taken advantage of because what they were looking for, they thought they were getting.
Okay, let's you said any success stories. You talking about when you say success story, that means marriages that worked, or what do you
when I say success stories, longevity it doesn't necessarily have to be marriage, but longevity in the relationship.
Okay.
It wasn't if it was if it was deemed a relationship, maybe a situationship, but it was a lot of them became real abusive, were real abusive. Some resulted in having children and just, being alone by themselves, but there weren't a lot of success stories. Let me say that.
Got you. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I've seen several. I've experienced and seen several instances where a lot of young ladies, they look every young female, if she didn't have a father in her life, it's one day she's gonna always know who that person is. And when that void is there, a lot of times they go looking for what they haven't had, and that and it'd be a detriment because you're looking for a father figure, but you've never had a father to figure, so you don't know what you're looking for. You looking for love. I know what you're looking for, and then a lot of times they don't know what they're looking for, and then they go for what someone appears and shows them to be. And so it ends up, in a cycle. So I've seen several for, majority of my life, a lot of women are caught up in that. That's just one variable of many, but I've seen it. I've seen men when they're looking for a mother figure. I can run it the opposite way. They become a narcissist.
There you go again. We say we on father figure now, but you're gonna take
Yeah,
let me add that. Let me add that.
I just want to make sure that we got a
Yeah,
balance.
we're gonna get to that variable. We're gonna
Yeah,
get to that
I just
variable.
want to make sure that we start out the gates. Everybody is open-minded to know that we're balanced. You know, it ain't no one-sided.
Oh no, we're gonna trust me. I got my notes have all that, and we're gonna touch. Let's stay on this father figure for the Karen.
Okay.
What have you experienced with young women looking for a father? Somebody in the comments say hi or something. Let me know y'all are still there. I mean, I know it's not a whole lot to say anything yet, but have women ladies and gentlemen in the comments, have y'all seen relationships where the younger one woman in the relationship was looking for a father figure, and as Jimmy said, where the younger man in the relationship was looking for a mother figure? Have y'all seen and experienced those types of relationships? And if you've seen those types of relationships, have they worked? Karen, go ahead. Hey, what's up, Dr. Tucker?
Yes, I have seen quite a few of those. And I agree with Ashley. It usually doesn't last very long. But the bad part about it is sometimes they don't know that's what they're doing.
Oh, wow.
Kind of have to counsel them through that and help them to see you're looking for your dad. And it just doesn't work that way.
That's good. That's good. Okay, and Jimmy, now that you did bring it up, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead. Well, first, before I do that, let me backtrack. The first reason we talked about last week that a lot of young women do it is because we said that women mature faster. That was one thing. Women mature faster. We said women usually mature around the age of 25. Men about 32 to 35 when they range. Second, we said was women are easier to lead. Younger women are easier to lead than the women that are the older guys' age. Then we said that the younger women might be looking for more professional stability. That was one thing. And now we're at looking for a father figure. But now we're going to flip it since we have this other paradigm introduced, and we're going to say that there are, Karen, have you seen younger men that, and what was the age, you talked earlier a little bit, what was the age that we established as a cougar? What's the difference in age?
They say 15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years. So if he's 35, then she's 50. Or if he's 25, then she's at least 40. So if he's 25 and he's going after a 40-year-old, 45-year-old, 50-year-old, 56-year-old, whatever it is, okay? And 55-year-old, 56-year-old don't look 56. 56 might look 38, 39, right? But he knows how old she is, right? And he goes after her. Nowadays, it's not necessarily he's looking for a mother figure. He's just looking for companionship, right?
It depends. It really depends. It can depend on the culture. Okay. Some are looking for a mother figure. Some are looking for the typical cougar, somebody to take care of them. And then there's some that are sick and tired of the bull crap the young women are bringing. And they just want an older woman because they may be a little more mature, than most people their age. So it really just depends. It really depends. You got to talk to people to get to know them.
When you say the bull crap that the younger women are bringing, do they specify what type of bull crap that is?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They don't want younger women, in their opinions, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to work. They only want to be taken care of. They don't want to bring anything to the table. They're cussing, arguing, fighting, all of the things that we hear about all the time.
Wow.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Why is it such a different dynamic for the reason why a woman would be dating a older man versus the reason why a man would be dating an older woman? And we just said that, and I don't think we gave any other reasons why a younger woman would date without the fact of having daddy issues. So why there's so many different definitions as to why a man can, but we don't have those same definitions for why a woman does.
Who are you asking?
That might be a loaded question.
I was trying to define that. I was trying to define that, but we were trying to wait to get back around to it because I was basically expressing how if a man say a man didn't have a father, okay, but he has a mother, okay, he does not know how to be a man. Now he's steady dating women, but his idea a lot of times of men today, black men specifically, we base being a man on how many women we have. That has nothing to do with being a man. And if a boy has not had a father figure, he's gonna make his own identity through the streets to tell him what a man is. And so it's the same. It goes the same way. And then if watch this, if he was raised by his mother, watch this one. If he didn't have a father, now watch this, raised by his mother, he's gonna a lot of times they expect the woman that they deal with to treat them like the mother treated them, meaning she paid his bills, she bought his clothes. That's where the feminine guy comes in. So it's a whole plethora of issues when a male, especially when a man don't know his identity, he don't know how to be no leader. He can't lead. Why would a woman submit to a man that can't lead? He can screw. A lot of them getting those type of men. He can screw, but he can't lead.
Ashley, what was your question again?
So are you saying that the reason? I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Are you saying that the reason why older men? I get because my question was why do why? I never get really tied up like this, but I guess my question is well, not I guess my question is why there's so many extras for the woman for the excuse. I'm gonna say the excuse. Maybe they might not be the right word, but why are there so many excuses for the man, but for the woman, she got daddy issues.
Yeah, okay, so that was the question.
Who was the question asked to?
That's not true.
To everybody.
I was just asking it out.
That's not true.
That question answer to the question is that fair to the question that you just asked is that there are more than one reason for it's not just the dad issues. Some do it for maturity because they need somebody. I've actually had conversations this week with younger women, and they all said that they like older men, and I asked them why. And most of them said that it's for maturity. It wasn't nothing to do with dad. One girl, I said, do you think it's daddy issues? She said, no, my dad has been in my life the whole time. It ain't got nothing to do with daddy issues. Just people my age are not mature. And that's what's confusing to me because like like Lady Karen just said a minute ago. Oh, Lady Karen, and I'm sorry, I'm going on, but I didn't give you a chance to address Ashley's question. Would you like to address Ashley's question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, but we like you were saying a minute ago that sometimes older. God, I just lost my train of thought when I did that. My train of thought went.
It's okay. We'll help you out a little bit.
My question.
So basically, men can have the mommy. My mom always took care of me, and I guess that kind of falls on the mothers because we do have some mothers who coddle their sons, and so when they go out, they're looking for somebody to still come and do that same thing. And I guess sometimes even now, does that spill over, Lady Karen? I know you have sons, and I'm not saying you're coddling your sons, but does that kind of spill over? Is that the same thing as when a man is looking for someone that's like his mother? Does that fall in the same category, or is it I would like a woman that's like my mom, not in the essence that she's taking care of me, but she's not necessarily a strong woman, but a resilient woman. She did this, she did that. And I know we have to stop, not make those comparisons, because go ahead, Mr. Jimmy, go ahead.
A real man ain't gonna let no woman outdo him, period. So we can stop that right now. A real man take care of what he loves, and she's not gonna do Ain't no 50-50. Ain't none of that going on. That man gonna take care of that woman, and they gonna work their dynamic. So you can't flip that like that. That ain't how that go. Cause a real man is not gonna go for that. He gonna take care of that woman. If he's an effeminate guy, he gonna want. That's where the mommy issue come in, cause he wants a woman to take care of him like his mother did. See what I'm saying? A real man would not dare.
Hey,
like that.
Hold on a second. Faye, Felicia Faye, come on the show, please. I'm going to send you a link because I know this is part of your area. If you are addressed, or you don't even have to show your picture if you don't want to, but come on the show if you will. She's a counselor. She's certified with this stuff. So I would love for her to come and share some of her information if she doesn't mind joining the conversation. So I'm gonna send her a link right quick, and hopefully she'll go. Now go ahead, Jenna. What you?
Well, I was just trying to show the different dynamic. It could be several issues, like I said, but we're talking about that one specific one when a man does not have that father figure, and he was raised by his mother, and he was kind of enabled, but it turns him into one that is an enabler. That's all I was saying. And and a real man, I'm saying, if a man didn't have a father and was raised to be a real man, he still wouldn't allow no woman to take care of him, period. That's all I'm saying.
And I would say this, Ashley. I agree with what Jimmy said as far as he wouldn't allow it. I do have 2 boys. Both of them are adults, in their 20s. And it does make it hard. I've been told by both of my boys, I won't find a woman like you. I'll never get married. Just, Mama, you make it hard. Because, too, they got to have something to look for.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, and I'm continuing tomorrow on this virtuous woman series. Talk about the virtuous woman, but a lot of people don't understand why that's in the Bible. Who was talking? Who was she talking to? And what the heck is a virtuous woman? And when we train our boys what to look for, and we train our girls to be those things, it can make it hard. It really can make it hard for people to find someone suitable. Yeah. Yes, Ashley.
Gotcha.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it does.
It did. I mean, I was asking this question, so I can't say it did. I'm sorry, my bad. But listen, Felicia Faye said she can't come on right now because she's on another call. But she said, and she's a counselor, but she says daddy and mommy issues are a very small percentage of why people date older. And I can see that. I mean,
I would say that because I'm a person who dates, and I think I said this. I'm a person who likes older men, and it dang show because I ain't had no daddy.
Right.
Yes.
It has far fetched from that. I had a daddy and a good stepdaddy.
And you said you've always dated old. You've always just liked older.
With the exception of my most recent relationship, yes.
Yeah, Ashley was always fast.
It's not fast. It's not fast. Not fast.
It rose and flies, but 18
Baby,
is
I
whatever. You testified last week about old whatever Junebug riding around the school.
Right.
I did what now?
You testified last week about Junebug riding around the school with a curl when you was in high school with his old.
First of all, and I wasn't even back when we was doing Jerry curls. First of all, when y'all was doing Jerry curls, let's say that
my hair never grew. I couldn't get a Jerry curl.
Well, see, you was hating because you really wanted that. Yeah, just had that little whip action going on.
I wanted my soul to glow, and it just would not grow. It just stayed matted up right there in the back. Look, Karen, I'm from the days when we used to put an S curl in our hair just to doggone get that good little flat top on the side. We used to people's backyard and all that.
That ducktail.
I never will forget when we went to Old Main, man. It was all 3 of us in I forgot the name of that class, Miss Hamilton. I don't know if she's still alive or not. But 3 of us came there with messed up haircuts. Now when we were friends in high school, we cut each other's hair. And boy, they messed Derek Turner messed me up so bad. But I had bald fade all around the head. 3 of us came in the same way. Anyway, that's not part of the conversation. So they're not looking for a father figure. Now, Karen, you talked about this earlier, right? And you said that sometimes well, we talked about how, and this, Jimmy, I want y'all to chime on this as well, because this is something that happened, I believe, in these older, younger relationships, and probably caused them to crash early on, is the culture clash, because there's such a different culture clash. You know, for instance, I'm 49 now. I couldn't see myself. I talked to a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say her name because she's kind of prestigious, but I asked her one time when I got a divorce. I said, how young can I go? And she said I can go 20 years. I was like, thank you. But anyway, I really couldn't see myself with sometimes, because what we gonna talk about? You know what I'm saying? We're in different places in life. You know what I mean? I don't know certain music. I don't know certain styles. I don't know. So I can only imagine that in certain relationships that there have to be culture clashes, right? If you're in your, Lady Karen, and you tell me your age. I don't want to say it out loud, even though you've said it before.
6.
All right. So she's 56, and the young cat comes at you, say 31, right? And y'all go out on a date. What does that date look like? I mean, what does a culture clash look like?
It depends, because if the culture's clash too much, I'm not going on that date.
But tell me an example of a culture clash.
For me, would be, hey, mom, little mama, what you got up? You know, if you approach me that way, no. But we're going to have a conversation now. We're going to have a conversation right where we stand. And I'm going to begin by, you know, letting him tell me how old he thinks I am. And it's always going to be late 30s. Always going to be late 30s. The other day, I got a 40, possibly 40-year-old, 41, you know. But then we have a conversation on him, his approach. Then I turn into mama, like for real. I turn into his mama, and we had a conversation.
See what I'm saying?
But, you know, the young, mannerable young man who approaches me very intelligently, and yes, I meant to use that word, you know, we might go out, and he don't hear from mama. See, a lot of it is us and being the cougar. There are people who really take the time and the effort to raise their children the best they know how, and their best is pretty good. So I have met some younger guys that have approached me in a better way than some of the older guys older than me. Yeah.
But that mommy's in there, huh? And you pull that joke out like a switchblade when it was time to be pulled out, huh? Okay. So that's the part that gets me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, and I know mother ain't really and father really ain't well, I guess it could be a verb. But when you start mothering somebody in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Especially if we on the verge of a romantic relationship, you know what I'm saying? Last thing I want to hear in that moment is my mom, huh?
Right. That doesn't work. I don't go out on a date with those type guys, because what I need, they can't give me. It's just that simple. They're not at that place yet.
Jane, can I say something?
Sure.
A lot of black men don't even know to open the damn door for a woman.
True that.
Car door, restaurant door, any damn door. Open the damn door. They can't even do that, let alone talking about approaching a grown woman. What's up, little mama? Can I holler at you? Hell no. Go the hell on.
Right.
But then she have to go into that, because see what Lady Karen is doing. She is making it's called a teaching moment at that time. So maybe next time when you roll the damn dice, you might get it right, but you just lost this time. I move around.
But Jimmy, I'm not gonna make him feel bad. I already
know. I already said you're gonna make it a teaching moment. You got to, like you said, you're gonna go mama. That's all you can do.
I really am. And you know, my daddy taught me you never break a man's pride, especially not in public. So I'm not gonna embarrass him. I'm not gonna hurt his feelings. But we're gonna have a full-fledged conversation right there. I may never ever see that person again.
But you're gonna leave him with something. You're gonna drop something in his spirit.
Absolutely.
Well, that's being a lady, and that's being a lady, and I was always raised on lady. I'm sorry, woman was cool, but that lady put a whole other element on it for me, you know. And a lady just, to me, carries herself a certain way. Even in that moment, she's graceful. She doesn't have to,
That's right. That's
try to
right.
kill him. And let's flip the script. With older guys approaching you, how do they approach you, or is there a way where it seems like they try to father you, or try, or make assumptions about you? Because you say you like older guys.
A lot of times when I'm approached, people, a man doesn't necessarily think that I'm 35. I've always been mature for my age, for one. Mm-hmm. So in the way that I carry myself, no man has ever thought that without my looks, of course, yes, me being young, but the way that I act, no. I never give off, or I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I'm like, what is this? Oh, that kind of scared me. Sometimes I think you'll get those if you are the needy type.
I didn't hear you, Jimmy. She didn't hear you either. What'd you say? You said you always get the needy type.
Are you saying ain't nobody ever looked at you like a thought?
They may when we get in the bedroom, but that's not what I'm a lady in the streets.
Go on, Ashley. Come on, somebody.
Now.
Go on, girl.
That's right. I can agree with her.
I concur.
So yeah, no, I've never gotten that. I've actually talked to people, and people who would normally not stay or normally not be people who are phone talkers. We find ourselves being on the phone for long periods of time because although I'm 35, I'm still well versed in certain areas and definitely can hold an intellectual conversation and hold my own. So I've never been fathered.
You never been fathered?
No.
Have you, Karen, somebody ever tried to father you, an older cat? No, I'm just saying, you mean older. You said an older cat who tried to holler at you before. I mean, I don't know. And then you said you met your husband early, so I don't know. Was it ever a time that somebody tried in life? I don't know.
I met him early, meaning I was young.
Well, he was young too, though. Both of y'all were young. Though.
He was young. He's 4 years older than I am, so that's not a big gap at all. At that time, there's a few things we could discuss, but no, if you're gonna father me, you gotta be, no.
And when we say father, that means that can be offering unsolicited advice. I mean, trying to control what you do and tell you what to. Go ahead.
A lot of them, the only daddy they had was a sugar daddy.
And that syndrome is real prevalent right now.
That one jumping in real time. See, a lot of them they weren't looking for a daddy. They were looking for a sugar daddy.
Exactly.
Daddy. You see that?
I can see that.
Yeah, I know a heap of them looking for a sugar daddy. We ain't gonna talk about daddy. We can get to the sugar part.
Absolutely. Now, women, ladies, in the comments, do y'all have y'all ever had sugar? And sugar daddies approach young women just as much as young women approach sugar daddies.
All the time.
Daddy.
Huh?
What's wrong with me? I'm just kidding. I've never had a sugar daddy.
That ain't what you attract.
Right. And I've been single now 10 years, but I just have never had a sugar daddy.
But I'm gonna say this. A lot of times sugar daddy want them real tender. Not to saying that you ain't no tender, but they want them right. They want them real nice now. Yeah, they want them real tender. They want them real tender, barely touched. They want to do the touching up now.
Absolutely.
What age? So Jimmy, what age would you? What you gotta say, Ashley? Your hand up.
I may have missed this as I was going out. I heard somebody say something about sugar daddy.
My God.
A lot of times, not all the time, not the majority, but sometimes women don't necessarily go into something looking for a sugar daddy, but men lead with money a lot of times.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I'm gonna pick it.
You wait a minute.
I can't wait to go behind you.
Want me to mute him?
It's better to follow behind than to be in front. But anywho, no, don't mute him. Don't mute him. No. Men lead with money. So a lot of times, whereas we might have thought that we wanted to have some type of meaningful relationship and or conversation, we've X'd that out and we decided, well, we'll get a couple of dollars. And a lot of times, now let me say this, there are some people that will offer up money and they don't have to have any sexual exchanges. It's just, your conversation is wonderful and I'm gonna give you a couple of dollars for a long time.
He make it hard out here for us. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey, Ashley,
What do you want?
Men lead with money because women follow it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Now, I'm just telling. Let me say this here. Boy, one thing about it, these Negroes spending plenty of money being sugar daddies. Y'all can stop that. The sugar daddies is turned up. These men with this dope money and this PPP money and all this dope,
PPE, big brother, PPE, not PPP.
I said PPP. Not PPP. Yeah, not protective. I'm talking about the payroll, not protective. Look, let me tell you something. Especially the 1960 and 70 dudes, they sugar daddy down.
Oh, they leaving money and would rather pay to play.
Listen, they already know to come off the top. I'm talking about
money is a means of exchange for goods and or services.
Yeah, so we can get off of that because it's plenty.
We can be on it. Just because you said what you said does not mean that the statement still remains that men leave. Y'all can't talk because a lot of times y'all try to say, well, women, just like you said, they looking for a sugar daddy. Well, heck, if y'all coming out the gate with men, and then let me say this. I used to stay in the barbershop. Now they talk about the price of cooch has gone down. So that's why they, mess with it. Ma'am.
Yeah, it might be 30 now.
Now, now, of course I'm young, but I'm from the country and the old school. Okay. I ain't old school, but I'm from the old school. So, back then you didn't have to do all that. You can get your house, you can get your kids taken care of, they was dropping big dollars.
All of that.
Now,
right.
They're not doing all of those things. But they leading with money though.
They're not doing they're not doing it because the young women have lowered the standard and they are accepting boxes of chicken and some ground raw and a blunt.
I don't know what kind of woman y'all dealing with. I must be dealing with
we talking about the same one.
I don't know if I'm going to sell it for nobody. Hey, I got my partner. I got my friend. Hold on, let me clap for her. We got this.
James, where did you get this chair from?
I forgot the name of the store, but that's a recliner that I got from some clothing store.
Baby, you is comfy. Go ahead.
Because y'all don't know how uncomfortable I was sitting in that stool for them last few months. So I'm good. Hey, Faye.
Hi.
How you doing, Faye?
I'm doing great. Just listening to this conversation, which is so interesting.
What you think?
What do I think? I think 60% of it is the truth. Another 40% is a little far-fetched.
Give me the far-fetched part first. I want to hear the far-fetched part first.
Well, it's the mommy-daddy issues that come up so much. And there are quite a few people that I counsel. And to be honest, the mommy daddy issue is really a very small percentage of why people date older or date younger. It's not, that excuse, as someone earlier put it, that does come up quite a bit. If a woman dates older, she has daddy issues. That's not necessarily the truth. And like I said before, that's a very small percentage of why a woman dates older or why a woman dates younger, and vice versa for men and their choices and the age that they date. For me, I've dated younger. I've dated 13 years, younger. And it was more for spontaneity. It was for the sexual drive of someone younger, because when a woman gets to a certain age, typically her sex drive increases as she gets older. And so men that are my age in, their 50s, they kind of slow down a little bit. And, for me, it was a plethora of things. It was just the excitement of, dating someone younger, able to just up and go whenever I, wanted to, and have someone that felt the same way, that, hey, I can get up and go as well. So there's a lot of different reasons. And in my profession of counseling, I'm gonna tell you now, the daddy mommy issues are very, very small percentage.
Oh yeah, and we said that we that was just one of the 5 or 6 reasons that we kind of put out there. Like, and now that you said part of it was for sexual pleasure or whatnot, or sexual drive, should I say? I just added the 5th reason, and the 5 reasons that I added. I don't know if you heard all 3 of them, but heard all 4 earlier.
I did not miss them.
Don't worry, I'll tell you again. Hold on. The 5 reasons were: number 1, it was for women mature faster. Number 2, easier to leave. 3, for the women does it for more professional stability. 4, looking for a father figure. Then then this one was the more sexually involved. But now that you're on here, it was 3 reasons that I found that typically why older women dated younger men, and all of them, believe it or not, had something to do with sex for the most part. First of which was sexual stamina. The second one is they feel more comfortable embracing their sexual assertiveness. And the third one was they feel able to place greater importance on their own sexual pleasure. Those are the 3 reasons why it said that women date younger men. Does that sound accurate, ladies?
Pretty
I mean, I'm sure there's more reasons, but those 3, do they sound accurate?
Pretty much. And to me, in hearing you say that, it can depend on, again, how much younger we're talking about. Because if you're talking about, somebody, a dude, a guy in his 20s, he still may not have those focuses. In his 30s, probably does. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, I would say yes. I would agree with those things.
I can't as far as I like sexual experiences. So, like Lady Karen was saying, as far as somebody in their 20s, they may not be into I don't want to try to, like Lady K say, I ain't trying to incriminate myself, but and I'm not even gonna say they're not into intimacy like I may be into intimacy. I'm gonna say it like that. So I think and I can't say that that's just a younger thing, because some older men they still hitting it or doing it right at and not missing the mark. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
What do you think, Fade? Are those three reasons accurate from your standpoint?
From my standpoint, yes. Only because this was my when I was in my master's program, my research study was on sexuality in older women. Dating younger men versus older men, and that was pretty much across the board. That was the truth when it came to the research study. And of course, it was just a small population that we used. There were 1,000 people that were in this research, which seems like a lot, but it's really, not a lot in the bigger scheme of things. But within those 1,000 participants, I would say 85%, those were the reasons why a woman would prefer being with a younger man.
Oh, wow. Ashley, you got an amen from D. Carlos Tucker when you said some old men still know how to hit it right. He fell right in on time with that. He said, "Say that. Don't give up on the shit, older dudes." I think I'm almost in that older category now.
I think if people are into pleasing their mates and not being selfish, because sometimes that's what you find a lot in the younger guys, is that they're real selfish in their sexing. So yeah, if they weren't so selfish and they actually tapped into some intimacy, they might be, I understand the older women, they some, I don't know if they want their back broke or not, but I think that they would still like nice sexual intercourse along with some intimacy. And I mean, Lady K, you can tell me yay, nay, that ain't, you can't speak for me, but
Yeah.
I don't think no woman want no man just jumping on her.
And something else we have to take under consideration, even with the younger guys, as it pertains to sex, is that people are developing health problems at a much earlier age now. And I'm really into that. And so you got some guys in their 20s that kind of fall back from sex, regardless of how old you are, because and I mean in their 20s, because they just can't function as well as 20-year-olds used to 10 years ago, because they were raised on hot dogs and hamburgers and ramen noodles. So they just, for real, think they should for so it's a different scheme of how things go now. But
some of them run into the is it erectile dysfunction because of certain things that they choose to do?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Drugs.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Alcohol.
Yeah, I know I'm blind. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like drugs.
Drugs and alcohol, and then a lot of times these young guys, they not really, they haven't been taught intimacy. First of all,
right.
You got to understand, and a lot of them, they too busy being with their damn homeboys playing PlayStation 5. But it's some young ones. Like when I was young, I had a lot of them are having more experiences too now. So you just can't say because they're young, they don't know how to please no woman. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of them jumping up and down in women. It's a lot of them want to be jumped up and down in too. But I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, y'all. Carlos Tucker got me dying over. He said noodles for a limp noodle.
Lord have mercy.
Because Karen said that they raised on these.
They was raised on ramen noodles.
He said the noodles will make them have a limp noodle.
Got an old Betty spaghetti over there.
Wow, that is so crazy.
There was a comment that was in the thing that was made by Maine Smith, and it says the older woman don't bring all the drama, much more peaceful. And I noticed that a lot of people say that, but believe it or not, old women be on some BS too. And a lot of times it's more, I think, more keyed in or more spotlighted because of younger. I think society has made younger women much more the focal point, but old women is ignorant. They not older. Some older women are ignorant, and they're ignorant on another level because they're so set in their ways at times.
But let me offer this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Karen said earlier that when she talks to younger guys, that the younger guys say they don't want to deal with the younger girls because they bring in drama, right? And then, like Jimmy said last week, and we've been saying all along, when women sometimes get hurt, then when they haven't healed yet, and it's time to go forth into a new relationship, they bring that drama with them, so it don't seem like drama has an age on it, if you ask me.
It doesn't. It does. That's my point. That's my point. But they definitely try to make it seem like the young women. And I learned last week that I'm not a young woman no more. But what you call some type of crew, y'all call me. But it's always said the young women, they drama filled. A
bunch of them. No matter what you say, and if you ask men, we gauge that part, and we can tell you right now, it's some damn fools. Yeah, and some younger gals. Straight. I'm not saying the older women ain't real ignorant. They too old to be ignorant, but they ignorant too. But them young ones.
Mm-hmm. Why they be ignorant though, Mr. Jimmy?
Huh?
Why they be ignorant? Yes, I said why they be. Why they be ignorant?
Well, I'm just saying when you
Come on with. I need you to give me
A lot of
an
them.
answer on why these women be.
A lot of them. A lot of them are toxic. A lot of them are toxic and living in the past. And it's all about worrying about a man. Just straight up. And they need
Hey,
to
you
get
still there?
Huh?
Hey, you still there?
Yes, I am listening to this. Trust me.
Oh, believe me. Take notes. We're gonna have. I'm gonna need your couch tomorrow. I promise you. I might need a session tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll give you a free session,
Thank you. Thank you.
as many as you want.
I'm speaking in the unknown tongue, coming in the Hyundai. But let me ask you a question. Because Karen said, Karen, you were going to say something before I asked Faye this question. Karen, what were you going to say?
The younger men dating are wanting to date an older woman has a few extra things that he can kind of determine not their trauma. I mean, if she's 50 years old and 12 jobs the last 10 years, that's a problem. You know, it's a lot.
I can't hear you. There's some feedback.
I fixed it.
Okay, sorry.
The longer a person has lived, well, male or female, but the longer a person has lived, you have more to judge their character on. So some old women, as y'all said, some old women have a lot of drama, but I think it's a little easier to pick them out than it is somebody who's 25. They've only lived 25 years. So yeah, I do agree. There are some older women that have a lot of drama, but it's easier for the dude to leave him right where he found her. Once he asks a couple of questions, I'll hear her talk for 10 minutes. You know, it doesn't take as much, in my opinion, in my thought.
And let me ask Faye something. Faye, in your experience, because Karen just brought up an interesting dynamic about I guess people experiencing problems at an earlier age, and and then Ashley suggested that part of that reason might be due to drugs and whatnot. Have you, with the medicating of so many children, like in school, would you imagine that might affect the body and make them have some of those? And I know this is you're not a medical doctor, but like that. But do you think that would contribute to some of those types of things?
Well, it does, because some of the medications that are prescribed in the office I work with, they do have certain things. The younger you prescribe a child, let's say Vyvanse or Adderall, Ritalin, any of those medications for the male, it can cause a lack of growth in his penis. And it will cause, some children, not all children, because it depends on, how your body responds to the medication. But that is one of the causes. Like me, for instance, I have a son who's autistic. So when he had to take medication to kind of calm him down, medicine was not given to him on a regular. It was only while he was in school because of some of the side effects. Sometimes it's supposed to help you to focus down the line, because your body becomes so used to the medicine. Now you have to take something else because you lose the focus. And my concern for my son was, because I didn't want to send my son out in the world and have women, talk about him with a small, penis. That was one of the concerns, and it will stunt the growth for a while. And kids, are now going to urologists to have it checked, or either have it stretched, enlarged, because of some of the medicines. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I know that to be true.
Are you kidding me?
No, my ex is a medical doctor. He's a surgeon.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm glad when you
so we did a lot of research, and I'm just on the other side, the PhD side of psychology. But I have to know all this. I have to let the parents know that, hey, this can affect your son, or this can affect your daughter, her not growing boobs, her not having menstrual cycles. But like I said, for my son, we took him, to urologist just to make sure that it was growing at the proper, length that it should be at his, maturation time. It's like, okay, at this age, it should be this long. At this age, just to make sure that the medications were not affecting him. And if they were affecting him, of course, we were going to stop it right away. But there are children at the age of 13, 14, they can go in and have their penis enlarged because of medications.
Okay, so let me pause.
The medications the stuff that I was referring to when we said drugs was not prescription medication. Let me say that first.
I knew that.
He asked me about prescription.
But you made me think about.
Yeah.
If they're taking those drugs and it's working, and they're putting drugs in children at 6, 7, 8 years old, what are those drugs doing? So you stimulate that next question. I knew what you were talking about.
And Miss Faye, don't worry about honey. If it's not the size of it, it's what they do with it. Okay. So.
Yeah, some of it is the size too.
Everybody stretch their hands in that direction. We're gonna pray for her, please.
Hey, I'm just being real. We all grown. It's not the size of it. It's what they do.
But I get it.
It's the motion in the ocean.
And I'm just saying.
But think about but really though. That's funny. It's a joke, but on the long term, think about that. So many of us medicate our children or have medicated our children. I told you my mom was offered to not medicate me, but I think one of my younger siblings, and it wasn't gonna add but $50 more to a little monthly check.
But they do it. I work in the school systems, and they do it to get them a monthly check.
Yeah.
They have their kids up there acting crazy. They'll allow the government to come in and prescribe your child whatever they want to prescribe them in order to, in essence, it slows them all the way down. It kind of numbs them to what's going on, and just for a few little dollars. And
that makes sense to what Faye is saying, because if it's having, especially when our bodies are not fully developed, they're young, they're still growing, and you got something that's impeding or slowing that growth, you know what I'm saying? And she says her son is autistic, so she gives him medication, but she only gives him medication and food. Some of these parents probably let their parent bring the kid home because the kid running around the house too much, and you don't want to deal with that, so you're gonna try to sit him down with some medication. And I honestly believe that they created a generation of dope heads by medicating these children. And we basically, a lot of us, and I know this conversation has made a left turn, and I thank God, but we did that at the sacrifice of a generation of children. Mm-hmm. And then not only that, but Faith, help me if I'm wrong, but what we did subliminally and inadvertently was stunt the growth of our generation. We've stunted our growth because now kids aren't fully developing. No. Because they're not fully developing. Now we talk about statistics say more people don't want to get married. Young folks don't even think about getting married no more. Then you got same sex is becoming so normalized and all of these types of things. And now Karen, you telling me that these young boys can't perform. Some of them can't perform. And Faye, you're saying why they can't perform. There seems like to be a hidden systemic agenda. I mean, because are white children being medicated as quickly as black children? I know probably not at a higher rate.
Oh, a higher rate. I'm going to tell you that now.
Right.
We write more prescriptions for white children. Well, the practice is mostly white children, to be honest. But there are a lot of prescriptions written for white children. And it's not just one. It may be 2, 3 different type of medications.
Where are you located? What city are you?
Medical Center.
Atlanta
Medical Center.
Okay. Because here where I am, they don't write as much. They want to send their kids to school, and you need to deal with them in the manner in which is comfortable for them. They don't medicate like that here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if it's black children, no, because a lot of the black parents that come in there, they don't want to medicate. They don't want to fix that problem because they get more on SSI.
Right. There you go.
That's why black children are not medicated as much as white children. White children, when they come and get medicated, they're not really worried about an SSI check because they already have money.
Right.
So you're saying that they get less money if they're medicated?
Because now your child is more under control. You don't need all of the resources now because they're kind of controlling the child where the child can be in school and sit down. Now, when a child is in school and they're misbehaving, now you may have ABA therapy. You may have a psychologist come to visit them once a week, depending on the school district, and the amount of resources that they have for that school district. So now you have to, have a psychologist there to come see them, a counselor that's there to see them. So when you have all of those things in place, why would I give you more money? Because we're already helping your child to get to where they need to be. Now, if I'm telling you my child is so out of control, I just can't deal with it, and I need money. No, I don't believe in medication. You're going to get more money. But there are more white children that are medicated because it's easy to say, take this pill, sit down, be quiet, and we're good. And what those medications are doing is, in a sense, is taking away the child's personality. You haven't even allowed them to develop into the person that they're supposed to develop into.
In the Little Rock School District, my brother is over a school, and he's over suspension, and everything she's saying is what he's told me, because we have a fraternity brother that has a program in the district. When those kids start having those behavioral problems, they'll sign them up with him. And then he's what Miss Faye is saying, that he's their counselor. He's the one assigned to him, and so he has a contract with the Little Rock School District. When those and it's majority, I promise you, it's majority black kids
they're only getting counseling, not medication.
That's what is leading up to all of that. All that's going on. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to get them where they're manageable in the school district. That's what that's about. Gotcha.
All right, so let's get back into the conversation of age ain't nothing but a number. We like I said, we took a long. So actually, you brought forth dynamic last week. Well, I kind of brought it forward, and then you kind of expounded on it a little bit. I told you I couldn't stand in high school. We're gonna go back. Some of us got to go back farther than others, but let's go back mentally in high school. And when you and I, we're the seniors in high school, or you're a little older than me, so you were a senior long before I was a senior.
Is you talking to me?
Nope. I'm setting the stage. So we were seniors in high school, juniors in high school, right? And there was always these cats that graduated within the last 4, 5, 6 years, right? And most of them had cars. Well, they were dudes. All of them were dudes. They all had cars. And those older dudes hung around the high school for whatever reason, bumping their little music, playing their little loud music, all that kind of stuff. And they were always, Jimmy, pulling the little young girls, right? They always pulled the young girls. A lot of times they pulled the ones that we didn't mess with, because those girls they were so developed that most of us was kind of scared of them anyway. So here come these older dudes, and they mess around and they pull them. So you got this dynamic where it's this 16, 17-year-old girl, and it's this dude probably between the ages of 23 and 28 riding around the school and dealing with these little young girls. Have y'all seen that? After you said you experienced that.
I didn't tell you that my man was around no school.
Stop lying on her, James. Stop lying.
First of all, let's put this out here.
No, hold on. She said she was 18 and he was 27, right?
See, that's what. You got two different stories mixed together.
Let me set my stage.
You done set the wrong stage and then I call my name. Don't call me.
My stage, whatever. Just ride with me. So you were a high school age young lady, right? Now he might not have hung around the school, but he still was how old?
I was grown and in college when I met my daughter's father, who was 28 at the time.
You were how old?
No, he was. I'm sorry. That's what I told my mama. He was 32 and I was 18. And what?
Nothing.
No. Okay, I told you to leave me. You called me to the face.
I got a whole lot to say about that. Actually, I really do have a whole lot to say.
You said what now?
I said honestly, I got a whole lot to say about that. But you know,
Well, call me and talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it.
I'm not talking about your situation. I'm not talking about your situation. I'm talking about situations similar to yours. That's why I was given a and I used the example of a 17-year-old high school senior, and you got 25, 26-year-old, 27-year-old men, even now 32-year-old men hanging around the high school, not around the high school because you wasn't in high school, you was in college, I understand. But even now and then, you had these older cats that hung around the school for whatever reason, and that was a normal behavior. That was normal. And inquiries kept. Them cats was pedophiles. Whether we admit it or not, if you 27, 28 years old and you messing with a 16 or 17-year-old girl, I don't care how developed she is physically. But I mean, if you 28 years old messing with a 17-year-old, that's borderline pedophilia to me. Am I wrong? Am I saying that wrong?
Now, why is it borderline? And I know we're not talking about my situation,
No,
but
not at all.
why is it borderline pedophilia now? Because I think we talked about this, but it wasn't back then when Big Mama had a grown man and she was 13 and had kids.
What you think about it? Hey, what you think about that?
To me, it's the same. I don't care if it was back then or today. Mm-hmm. To me, that's just sickening. For a 14-year-old to marry a 26-year-old man, whether it was in the 30s, the 50s, or 21. Because to me, the maturity, I don't care how much we say women mature, and we do mature faster than men, you're still not mature at 16. You're not mature at 18. You're not mature at 21. You think you are mature, but you're not mature.
Not in relationship.
Not in a relationship. Absolutely not.
And I'm just trying to think, what does a 27-year-old man want with a 17-year-old woman other than sex?
Control. Control.
Yeah, control would be there too. I can see
control. Hold on. Control, sex, manipulation, lies, dog, misuse, be narcissistic. Why would that? Why that would be the reason why that fool would do all that.
I mean, you know, and for the last year or so, last several years, one of the biggest stories has always been with R. Kelly in the news, right? And R. Kelly, man, he's been his whole scenario is, and he got sent. Well, he didn't get sentenced yet, but he got charged, I think, with 9 counts, you know, racketeering and a couple other things. But when you look at all the stuff that he's gone through over the years, I mean, and it's always now. There are some underlying conditions as to why he might, you know, behave the way he behaves. Of course, the story is that he was molested by his older sister at a young age, and that happened for several years or whatnot. And so I don't know if whenever he saw a woman, was he trying to recreate the scenario with his sister? Because, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, pedophilia when it talks about boys or men having sex with young boys, young women. But most people don't talk about pedophilia when you talk about an older auntie or a babysitter who had sex with a little boy or a young boy and did it for several years or did it for a long time or did it multiple times. And I think the word we used earlier was over-sexualized him, right? And so he starts having these little fantasies and all these types of things, and he wants to act those fantasies out. Now, I'm not making an excuse for R. Kelly at all, but I can understand him being over-sexualized because when you look at every time he's having these relationships, sometimes they're with very young, even his situation with Aaliyah. I think Aaliyah was what, 14 years old? Yep. I think here he is, according to a story published in Vibe, R. Kelly, who was 27 at the time, illegally married then 14-year-old Aaliyah during a secret wedding ceremony in Cook County, Chicago. Vibe discovered that Aaliyah lied on her wedding certificate about her age, listing herself as 18. Both of them vehemently denied it, but it got out there that at 27 years old, he was in love with, or whatever it was, and married a 14-year-old woman. Who does that? And who wants to do that in this day and age? Because we talked about, maybe it was actually convenient or good in the 30s or the 60s or whatever it was. But we're not in the 60s no more. There was 2000, 1994, whatever it was, and still he wants to go and marry a 14-year-old girl. What kind of mindset does that?
It's still happening today.
It happens. I mean, people go through arranged marriages all the time, all over the United States, all over the world.
Arranged marriages emanate out of a certain type of culture.
But it could be the same thing here. Like, what's the difference, though, is what I'm saying.
What's the culture, James, that you said it emanates out of?
When you talk about arranged marriages, that's usually like an Indian type culture. That's a being type culture. Where you have more communal type of families, Mormons, all those types of things. They're communal type people.
It's more heard of in those. It's more publicized in those cultures.
Yeah,
but it's
illegal outside of those cultures. Well, a lot of it's illegal. A lot of it's illegal. It's illegal in our culture, isn't it? It's illegal in our country.
The age of consent is 16.
The Mormons are married on.
Somebody, hold on. Somebody give me some feedback. I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me see. I found some people. You said what, Jimmy?
The Mormons are marrying all the time.
Oh yeah.
They specialize. They specialize in all that pedophilia stuff going on. We got a case. Matter of fact, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we got a federal case right now about that. Right now, about one of these, about the Dugars. It's in the news now. So he's from Arkansas. He got some child porn cases and some molestation cases in his own family. They part of that. They got about 20 something of them. And they believe in all that, and he going through that right now. It's going on right now.
Yeah. But let's still say what. And Faye, I'm gonna ask you, what kind of mindset at 27 thinks it's okay to marry by your estimation?
Someone who's broken. Okay. I mean, there could be a plethora of reasons. The bigger picture is someone who's broken. Like you said, he may have been violated himself. Not an excuse, because I deal with trauma. And that's one of my specialties. There are a lot of people who are violated. They don't turn around and violate someone else. However, you do have some that do. So if he was violated, low self-esteem, he doesn't really feel good about himself. And people always look at celebrities and think they have the highest esteem. They really don't. That's why a lot of them do what they do, is they're trying to build that esteem in them.
Wow.
Control. It could be with R. Kelly, just, reading the documents and looking at his life over the years. He also got to a point where no one said no to him. So he doesn't know what the word no means at this point. You had other grown men that were supplying him with young women. So it became the norm for him and anyone that was in his circle. So it's a lot of different reasons as to why he did what he did. But I honestly do believe he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew it was wrong.
And we did talk about this a little bit earlier. And when you look at some of the things that he did, like you said, he had to know. I mean, if you're gonna get married, it's eventually gonna come out at some point. You know what I'm saying? And for him some of the stuff he did, it seemed like he did with reckless abandonment. It's like when you just look at the pattern that he did, like first of all, we talked about what happened with Aaliyah. But after that, in 1996, Tiffany Hawkins filed charges against him for personal injuries and emotional distress she suffered during a 3-year relationship. R. Kelly at the time was 24 and initiated a sexual relationship with Hawkins, who at the time was 15 years old. she later demanded $10 million. Now, so he goes from Aaliyah, who's 14, getting her to lie about her age. Then he goes to this woman, Tiffany Hawkins, who's 15 years old, and she said he forced her into having sex. I mean, Karen, what do you mean? I mean, I know you have a little bit of a different take on this, but what Faith said is that he had to have been broken.
Absolutely.
And so being broken is definitely not good for the boundaries or the foundation of a relationship. Jimmy says that all the time. If you're gonna be in a relationship, you got to be healed. So if R. Kelly was ever gonna be in a good relationship, he had to deal with the trauma of whether or not he had been molested or taken advantage of sexually and all the time. But my concern is that I believe so many people in our society, and Jimmy, I don't know, because we as men, we don't talk about this. Even if we were taken advantage of at a young age by a babysitter, that's like a notch in the belt, you know what I'm saying? Or no, a mark, it's an accomplishment to an extent, you know what I'm saying? But talk about how does that experience traumatize the boy?
How does it traumatize him?
Yeah.
It could turn him into a pervert. It could turn him into a rapist. You are stimulating something. You are open. You are giving an experience to someone who doesn't have the mentality to know right from wrong on something like that.
Wow.
So he could grow up and this is what R. Kelly actually did. Like Miss Faye said, he was broken and that was his normal. Pedophilia, all kinds of freaky sex and all, that's his normal. That wasn't like he wasn't looking at that like that was a violation of a child. That was his normal.
Well, yeah. Wow. Go ahead.
I can definitely agree with Jamie, but my question is, how did it become his normal? We want to stop it right at R. Kelly, but where did he get this from? Somebody above him, older than him, a parent, a child, a cousin, an uncle, somebody dropped the ball. And 9 out of 10, 9 times out of 10, I don't know who raised him. I just said that whoever raised him dropped the ball. We have to put the blame. I'm not afraid to say we got to put the blame where it belongs. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna say this right here. Y'all hear me talk about because I want women to assume responsibilities, and I'm not comparing these two situations, but I'm gonna tell this. I helped to deal with a young lady that was 12 years old that was sleeping with a very, very grown man, and she initiated that. I'm not gonna give a lot of details, but I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of these young ladies are not like we think when we think of young ladies, especially young like me. They don't make them like they used to. When you would get up on top of the table, put your finger in somebody's face and say, if it wasn't this grown ass man, it was gonna be some other grown ass man. And she's 12 years old. 12. Now I see these things, and I may not have. Well, I see these things, and a lot of times we try to put blame where it doesn't belong, and we won't accept accountability or responsibility. It won't get. I forgot. I think Faye was talking about just a moment ago. Broken, but how in the heck did he get broken? That's what I want to know. Why is he broken? And why was he allowed to be in a position to continue being broken and nobody say anything?
Also,
you gonna address that, Ashley?
I was just gonna say, Lady K was talking about somebody dropped the ball on him, but where were the parents at for the young ladies? Because my child at 14 ain't going to too many places, no way.
See how this ball keeps getting dropped in
I can't hear.
Karen, we can't hear you, Karen.
Okay, go ahead.
Say it again, Lady K.
I said I agree with you. I'm just saying the same thing is going on as you're saying in our communities.
Yes, ma'am.
This ball was dropped in every last one of these kids' families. Every single one of them.
It's dysfunction. It's dysfunction that we're living. I mean, people are living normal in dysfunction. Just straight up.
Even when I watched his documentary, this was a conversation that me and my friend had, because I mean, those young ladies stayed there for years. I just felt like the money stopped. And when the money stopped, that's when the blackmailing came. Not saying that it was right, but they in essence prostituted their children for their own gain. And then now, I'm not saying R. Kelly is right or was right, but they were. I mean, he's not the only person who has done it.
Right.
But Michael Jackson was one. Please don't get me, because I know y'all like Michael Jackson, but he was doing, some of the same things. But the thing about it is they allowed their children to go there. So it wasn't like I don't know no real woman that got a daughter and or son that's going to allow their kids to just be going over no randoms, especially no man house by themselves and staying.
Well, why? Oh my God.
Let's hold on. Faye, come here for a second, Faye. Let's backtrack to what Lady Karen said a minute ago, because I really want to deal. I don't want to deal with the semantics of the case. I want to deal more so with the mindset of a 27-year-old man that still wants to have sex with 14 and 15-year-old girls, even though, and I know it's some very over-sexualized, experienced young women who are very aggressive and all those types of things. But at the end, it still takes a 27-year-old man to stick his thing inside of that young girl. I mean, me personally, when the conversation started, if I find out to a certain age, I'm cutting the conversation off. Okay, so Faye, if you will, address what Lady Karen said about the brokenness of somebody that broke him, and that was how that trauma was never dealt with.
Well, the trauma was never dealt with, usually in the Black family, and this goes back generations, is they sweep everything under the rug. They don't want to discuss it. So that's how you continue on with the cycle of the brokenness. They look at a child, if there's nothing physically they can see wrong,
That's good.
then you're going to sweep it under the rug. I don't see a broken arm. I don't see a bruise on you, but they don't realize that heart is bruised. That mind is bruised.
That's good.
And that's the most important thing. I can see a mark on you all day long. That's going to heal, but it takes years to heal the mind. It takes years to heal the heart, because guess what happened? Hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
So if you are hurt, you're going to turn around and hurt someone else down the line. And I don't care if a 14-year-old look like she's 27. A 14-year-old legally cannot consent to anything sexually. So if you say a 12-year-old hit on a 27-year-old, that's a bunch of BS, because she can't consent at the end of the day. That man at 27 should have more control to say, little girl, go home. You are not my age. You are not of age.
That's the part
for me to even go any further. The blame does not go back on the victim. And that's another problem the Black community need to stop doing, is putting the blame back on the victim. It don't go back to the victim. Now, for a 14-year-old to be at a hotel, to be at a grown man's house, and the mom and dad know, or the mom know, the dad know, the aunt know, they are the ones to be blamed, because they are the ones skipping their children out, not that child. That child can't take any of that blame. The parents, the guardian, whoever is overseeing that child and allowing that child to go to R. Kelly's hotel, to go to Michael Jackson's mansion, that's on the parent. And they are just as much to blame as Michael Jackson and as R. Kelly. They need to be right there on the stand with them.
And it does not absolve R. Kelly or Michael Jackson, though.
No, absolutely not.
That's the part I don't want to happen, is to think that they're to be absolved. And you bring up an interesting dynamic, because you said when you don't see physical scars, then you assume that person's okay. And when a boy penetrates an older woman, there are no physical scars. When a young woman is penetrated, it can bring all types of pain and all kinds of stuff and all those types of things. But a young boy, there are no physical scars. Now, The mental scars from that experience, those can't be quantified, and you definitely don't have a Band-Aid for them. And I think the only thing that can really help them is what? Intensive therapy?
It's therapy.
Wow.
James.
And so let me ask this. Hold on, Jimmy. Let me ask this question. So, at Dr. Faith, as a therapist, how would you approach a 12, 13-year-old boy, or say a 7, 8-year-old boy who's been molested by a family member / babysitter or something like that? How would you start a counseling session with that individual?
And that is a difficult one, because when it comes to children, they're not so quick to disclose. So you really have to let them speak when they are ready to speak. A lot of it is through play. A lot of it is through drawing. A lot of it is through storytelling. However, with little boys, if they have other men in their life that's telling them, man up, oh, this is what a man's supposed to do. Even at 7 or 8, they may think that is okay for this grown woman to be molesting them. Because the first thing we tell our little boys, get up, stop crying.
Right. Men don't cry.
Men don't cry. Get up. You a man if you got 2, 3 girls. How many girls you got? So that sticks into a male's mind, and that's why they're not so quick to want to discuss what may have happened to them.
That's right. Emotionally unavailable.
So in that instance, all you can do is just continue to have sessions,
and then eventually they will come around. And I mean, there are different things that we're taught to look for, and keywords to listen for, and things like that, to where we can then assess that yes, something did happen. But to get the full story, you just have to wait for a child to tell you, and that's what little girls as well. Wow. Because kids are naturally pleasers. So if they feel like they're going to disappoint or make the parent or any adult mad, they may start with the little fibs, so they don't upset the person, so they don't make the person mad. And if it's somebody that's close in the family, they're looking at that, well, that's my mom's brother, or that's my dad's sister, and I don't want to make them mad. So kids are naturally pleasers, and that's why you have to let them come around. You don't want to push them to the point where they just revert and just keep it in.
Wow. And y'all, when you saw that when I did this title, most time when I put AJ number to number, I put a question mark on there. And the reason I put a question mark on there is because to me, age is more than a number. And I think at a certain age, we have to figure out what's acceptable. You know what I mean? To an extent. I mean, true enough, an 18, 19-year-old might be very mature in her mind or whatever she thinks she is. I mean, I think it would be more physical than mental at this stage. But it's so many people that I question, especially more so because I don't know if it's more common to see an older man with a younger woman or an older woman with a younger man. I would venture to believe that it's more older men with younger women.
It is.
And I thought so. And I think you really have to question the motive, not of the young woman. To me, it's more so the older man, and especially until she gets a certain age. You know what I'm saying? She gets 27, 26, maybe even over 25. That mind might have developed a little bit more. You might be a little more well-rounded, be a lot more mature. But if you're 21, 22, and he's 47, 48, even 40, I just think that, man, what y'all gonna talk about? What kind of conversations are we gonna have? You know what I'm saying?
Can I say something?
Sure.
They're gonna have the same conversation that they mind level on, because his mind is on the level that she on. If he can entertain something like that, and then I've seen when these young girls will mess with these guys, older guys, and then the mama find out and then put her out and push him to the man. I've seen that several times.
You said explain that again.
I've seen where the mama find out watch this. The mama find out that the little girl is talking to an older man, whether somebody told it, called, she checked the phone or whatever, and found out that she was dealing with an older man, and then put her out, and she went and was with the older, lived with him, was with him as a result of the mother putting her out.
Wow.
I've seen so much of that. That's normal. I've seen that move over 20 times by different mothers. Over 20.
Well, that's another show you should have. Mothers jealous of their daughters.
My God.
And it happens all the time.
All the time.
Black mothers are jealous of their daughters, unfortunately.
Don't let that man come over there and she get jealous of her daughter because she finer than her mama, and they find out that the man cutting his eyes at the daughter. Oh, it's on now.
Absolutely, I agree.
That happens?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes.
Hey man, don't holler at me. I'm just saying.
It ain't just a Lifetime movie. In real life.
This in real time.
In real life.
I'm telling you, in real time, this what's going on. I seen a video on Facebook where the little girl was ready to kill herself because the mama kept accusing her of sleeping with her boyfriend.
But sometimes a woman wants a man so bad, even if it's not anything like that. It's just you want a man so bad that you think that anything that he does differently, it has something to do with the other woman,
and
which just so happens to be.
If he was to watch this, and then I done seen some instances where somebody molested the little girl, and because the mama was jealous of the daughter, she wouldn't believe the little girl.
I want to keep the man, huh?
I've seen that several times.
So go ahead, Karen.
I just said I talked about the ball being dropped a few minutes ago. Sometimes the ball is dropped intentionally. It just turned the other head.
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like the ball is thrown down, especially if the mama's putting her daughter out, and now she's going. Because I remember I told you I asked the question last week. Do a lot of women date older men for maturity or security? Now, a lot of them say maturity, but I know I would almost be venture to believe that equally as many do it for security. So
come on, somebody. I'm talking about that money. I'm talking about that paper in her face.
That's security. That's security. Yeah, that's the security I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, she's going.
So if she can go over there and live in his house, and he got live-in, you know what I'm talking about,
right?
And he can mold her and control her and manipulate her and do all those things because he got this young chick in the house.
And
Karen, mama put her out.
And she in love and getting good D. She in love.
I think that situation of stability is forced because if you're put out as a young woman, you don't really have any, first of all, if anybody doing something like that, you probably got a dysfunctional family anyway.
Exactly.
Because ain't no mama, I don't care how mad my mama got at me or anything like that, how many times I done get mad at my child. She ain't never been on the other side of the door telling me I find you somewhere to go.
Boy, I seen it a million times.
If anybody puts their child out like that, the family already probably dysfunctional, and she probably doesn't have anywhere to go. Absolutely. So you're forced into this situation to find some type of stability. So I feel like that situation is different.
Oh no, we didn't say how the security came. It's just security.
No, I'm just saying. I know we were talking last week when we were talking about security. I don't think anybody went this far to say I'm forced into finding someone that will take care of me because I have no other choice.
But as he brings up, it's a real issue. So that's a dynamic that's just another layer to the conversation. To be honest with you, have you seen that, Faye?
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. I mean, more than I even care to count.
My God.
And it's a sad situation because you're putting a child in a situation they're not ready to be in yet. It's just like I have 3 daughters. You know this, James. I have 3 daughters and a son. And
brag on your daughters first, though. Tell us about your daughters. Tell them what they do.
I have one daughter. She's a lawyer. She's also an NCAA national champion in track and field. My oldest daughter is a celebrity chef. She's cooked for Oprah and Adele and Charles Barkley, you name it. And then I have 15-year-old twins, which I'm kind of starting over. And so, yeah, my 15-year-old, she's actually a commissioner in Clayton County, a youth commissioner, and my son is a baseball phenom. Even though he's autistic, he's on the spectrum of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Good Doctor, the show The Good Doctor. He's brilliant. He has an IQ of 150. He just has the socialization piece of it. So like even with my daughters, you know, we raised our daughters that you don't have to leave this house unless you're ready to leave this house. When you're in college, you know, you're not going anywhere. And I also told them this, I don't want them to get married into their late 20s, early 30s, because they will be mature enough to be married. They've experienced going to college, trade school, or whatever they needed to do. Because for me, just because I have all the degrees and my ex has all the degrees, that may not be for you. So figure out what you want to do. Just like my oldest daughter came to me and she's like, hey, I want to be a chef. Okay, you're going to do something. However, until you're ready to leave this house financially, emotionally, you're going to sit your behind right here. Because you turn 18, don't make you grown.
Absolutely.
Grown means you got your own and you can provide for yourself.
Boy, they putting them out.
And so, yeah, 18, I see it all the time. I have friends that are like that. Like, oh, they're 18, go. And I'm like, the maturity is not even there for them to be out there. Now you're throwing that child, and especially a female, you're throwing that child out there to the wolves.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And don't get mad when she come home with a grown man, maybe an abusive man, maybe somebody she taking care of, because you haven't prepared her yet. And the only reason my daughter is, you know, is living on her own. She didn't move out. My oldest daughter didn't move out until she's 29 now. She didn't move out until she was 26. And that's when she thought she was grown. So I was like, okay, you think you're grown, goodbye. And then my other daughter, of course, going to law school in Louisiana, and now she practiced law in Dallas. So that's why she's not here. But my door has always been open. You are not leaving here until you are mature enough to leave here. I can't throw you out there to the wolves. And you're not.
Sahara's her experiences. She was in Ohio for
she went to Ohio State undergrad, her master's from University of Tennessee.
Yeah, growing up on the road.
Oh yeah, so she grew up on the road, and her law degree was Southern in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so she was prepared. She her experiences prepared her, and that's the key. I think y'all just said, and I'm agreeing with both of y'all. And dang, that just putting your child out. She ain't got nowhere to go, and 9 times out of 10, it's some scoundrel,
knucklehead,
that's ready to scoop her up and put her in the bedroom and put one in her as quick as he can,
and put some babies in her.
Yeah, that's what I said. Put one in her as quick as he can. Talking about a baby, and now he got her for the. That's wow, man. I don't know. Like I said, that's just that whole. And I'm not trying to rehash the whole R. Kelly case as much as I'm trying to analyze the mentality, because even with the hold on, let me get back into this for a second. This is the one that got me. He said the Crooner's life spiraled. They spelled it wrong. No, I spelled it right. The Crooner's life spiraled in 2002 for the worst when the video surfaced of him allegedly having sex with an underage girl. Things appeared to bleak for the singer when he was accused of urinating on the girl in the video. When reports broke, Kelly spoke with MTV News and denied all accusations. Now, some people try to say it wasn't him. Some people try to say it was him, whatever. But this dude had a sex tape with a 15-year-old girl. And I know somebody say, hey, the girl went and the girl let him do it and all this kind of stuff. But I'm leaning on Karen's side. That, if I'm 27, I promise you I can manipulate a 14 or 15-year-old girl and make her do exactly what I want her to do.
You don't have to manipulate. There's nothing to manipulate. She don't know nothing.
I agree with Tammy now. You don't have to manipulate her. It's not like it used to be. And sometimes we think it's how it was with the experiences I had. But baby, these are into all kinds of stuff at 12.
Gonna take her fast.
Not just urination.
No, y'all saying two different things, but I don't think y'all listen to each other talk. Y'all are saying two different things. He's saying he don't have to manipulate her because she's so young. I'm going to take her fast. You're saying she doesn't need to be manipulated, Karen, because she's already so fast. He's saying he's going to take her fast.
She only knows what she sees. That does not mean she's mature.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's only what she sees. Your maturation does not develop until you're in your 20s. So just because she sees it and that's just like anything. Anyone can go out there and mimic what they see on TV. They mimic what they hear on TV. It doesn't mean that they're mature. Just because she's doing some of those things, she's only mimicking those things. She's not mature.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's like a child watching porn all the time, I guess. They're only gonna mimic
what they see.
Yeah,
you
don't have the mental capacity to understand what's going on.
Wow. That's
But
good.
they will mimic it. They will mimic it.
And because society has made sex has been so hypersexualized, they make it seem like it's okay. They make it seem like it's cool. They make it seem like it's the norm. They make it seem like you're a square if you're not doing it. You know what I mean? You got kids on the park on the playground playing kiss chase and go hide and go get it. We were doing that when we were young, but
we were, but they actually going to get it this time. We would just make like it. We would just make like it. They actually getting it, okay?
Right.
But that analogy that y'all gave about them seeing the stuff, that goes to me with homosexuality. When they see things on TV, or see their parents doing a certain thing, I think I don't want to say force a lifestyle on them, but we alter their thinking when we put these things in front of them. That's why I've always been careful to make sure that I tell my daughter that it's okay to like boys. Now, you can't have no boyfriend, but it's perfectly normal for you to like boys. Because I feel like if we put in their head so much, you better not like no boy, I better not hear you talking about, then they'll say, okay, well, that must be wrong.
That's going to make
I'm supposed to like the other. Like girls.
That's going to make her go.
Yeah. So I think that and I remember early on when that started happening on TV, I felt like we were being forced to introduce our children to something that I wasn't ready to have a conversation with my child about. And so I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was something on Catfish. And it was a guy who had braids and I was able to kind of shift and say, you know how your auntie has a beard, she shaved her face, that's the way that this guy is, because he had hair. So she was like, Mama, was that too, guys? So I feel like society forces us to have to expose our children or have conversations with our children that they may not be ready for. And if we're not careful, that's what we'll be teaching our kids and not us.
That's right. That's true.
What you think about that, Faye?
I agree with her.
Good. I was nervous on that one. I'm glad you did.
I agree with her. To the sense of we do have to be careful what we say to our children. I've always been that one. I grew up in a household where we discussed things that we probably shouldn't have discussed, but my parents didn't want us to go out into the world blind. So they talked to us about sex. They talked to us about drugs, about alcohol. Hey, you want to try it? Nothing was taboo to us. So therefore, when we got older, it wasn't a big deal. Where most of my girlfriends in high school, they were running around having sex and guys getting drunk. That wasn't anything that interested me because we were already, taught these things and we were already discussing. Like my kids, I talked to them about sex when they were young. Of course, it's age appropriate. You figure out, what you can discuss with a 5-year-old versus, a 10-year-old versus a 15-year-old, because a lot of parents don't tell their kids the monsters aren't out in the street. The monsters are really close to you. You don't have to worry about typically people out in the street. You got to worry about your circle, because 9 times out of 10, when somebody is molested or
Family.
raped at a young age, is by
Family.
somebody you know.
Family.
It's family. So that's why we had those discussions, and them watching, like my daughter, she came home. I took her to school. She was 4th grade, my twin baby girl. She came home. When she got out of the car, you know, we do the I love you. We sing a little song, give her a kiss, on my way. She came home that evening and she said, Mommy, she said, am I a lesbian? I was like, huh? I said, what's a lesbian?
Where
She
you
said, I
get
don't
that?
know. And then she said, they said I'm a lesbian because I kissed a girl. And I said, well, what girl did you kiss? Because now I'm confused. And she
My
said,
mama.
I kissed you and you're a girl. When you dropped me off, and they told me I'm a lesbian because I kissed a girl. So I wasn't ready to have that discussion, but I had to have that discussion because I don't want her to go back out there and have the wrong information. And I said, and then for me, you know, the psychology in me, I'm like, now that is sad. Does your mother not kiss you? Because you know I'm her mother. And so you're lacking love at home. So now you're lashing out on my child. Just an innocent kiss. So now I'm talking to her about the difference between, you know, being gay and a lesbian and, you know, all of these now nouns that I wasn't ready to, you know, expose her to for another year, or maybe when she hit middle school, she was still in elementary school. So now I have to have this conversation with her.
So
and that was my thing. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was my thing. Like my daughter was still in elementary as well, and I knew it was coming because I knew it when I was trying to change the TV really quickly, and I seen her kind of like look, and I was like, Lord, here we go. How and what am I getting ready to say to my child about what now is kind of being forced down? And I'm not saying whatever people decide to do with their time or however they choose to love is on them. I haven't, you know, that's what they, you know, their thing, but it's almost like there was once it was a shift that came, and it was like, you all are going to we're going to put this out here, you're going to accept this, and you know, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. And so this was starting to happen all over primetime TV and everything. And so it was like, now I'm forced to have these conversations that I'm not ready for. Heck, I got to prep my own self.
What was that Empire? Empire brought that on.
It was.
Hey, Faye, you said something a minute ago, and it gave me this thought that I just put on the screen. Things are introduced and things that are taught. Like you said, your daughter was introduced. She came home, or the concept of lesbianism, should I say? She came home and asked you, "Mom, am I a lesbian?" Now, after that, when you found out that she was introduced to it, you do not necessarily clarify. And I think that's the difference with so many children, especially some of these over hypersexualized children who are introduced to sex because they heard mama in the bedroom doing her thing, doing the beast with two backs, one of my friends used to call it. They heard their mama in the bedroom doing their thing, or they heard their daddy, whatever, or they looked on when mom and dad left the house, they got to the Playboy channel or whatever it was and found a video, and you know, and so they're introduced to these things, but they're not taught these things. And when you're introduced to something and haven't been taught that particular thing, then you in essence do whatever you will with the information, whether it's good or bad. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's good.
I think that's what a lot of us do, because we don't want to have those conversations because those conversations are so taboo. Like Ashley said, I wasn't ready for that conversation just yet, you know. And now, hey, you're saying I wasn't ready for that conversation, and a lot of people never ever have those conversations, and because they don't ever have those conversations, we leave our children, more specifically our daughters and sons, really, we leave them exposed because they go out in the world, because the world is gonna give it to you. They're gonna give it to you on a platter, you know, a silver platter, the way they want you to have it. That's what TV's all about, programming. And
absolutely.
Every TV show, like Jimmy just said, Empire. What was the show with the Star? I mean, all of these different shows. Even I was watching
He Valley.
Yeah.
What's the one with the Equalizer with Queen Latifah in it? Her aunt
Oh.
is in it. Her aunt 60-something years old in the show, and all of a sudden she got a lover she'd have had in college. Now that was 40-some years ago, and she that relationship dead, you know. But they bringing that one back up, you know what I'm saying? Because they're introducing all of these concepts to our children, and a lot of those concepts we don't want to teach them. And if we don't teach them, then they're going out and they're misapplying the information. They think this man loves me like a R. Kelly because, number one, he's a celebrity. Number two, he might have bought me a pair of shoes, whatever they said he did. I don't know what all he did. But now he's actually having sex with me. And I'm doing, and he is urinating on me, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that for real, because I have not been taught. I have not, no value has been built in me. And that's why I said there's a big difference between things that are introduced and things that are taught. My advice would be to any parent that's raising young people and knowing that they're going to be in a relationship, especially considering all of the dysfunctional relationships that exist in the African American community, we need to start teaching our children what real love is.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you this, Karen. Who teaches a boy how to be? Who teaches a boy?
I can't hear you.
Who teaches a boy intimacy? A young man. It's your child. Your child.
I think both of his parents do. Definitely. Both in my family, in my house, both of us have had and do have those conversations with all our kids, the boys and the girls.
Yeah. And we got to learn that in an intimacy. And I think so many people think that just because
we keep going in and out.
Yeah, it keeps going in and out. It's real bad.
Oh, he's now frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was too relaxed over there.
I hear y'all just fine. You can't hear me?
No.
Now we can, but
We
you
can
were
hear you
frozen
now.
for about a minute.
That's funny. You said I said, can y'all hear me? You said nope.
Well, we couldn't at first.
I got you. Hey, listen. It's 11:57. So we our time is about out. We only got about 3 more minutes. Hey,
James.
I appreciate you.
No worries.
Man, I appreciate you for jumping in on the spur of the moment like that. Faye and I used to work in the same building a long time ago, and we just kind of maintained being cool over the years. And I saw her name in the comments, and I knew all of her accomplishments, and she has a lot of those. And so I asked her to jump in. And Karen, you did your thing like you always do. Jimmy, you were on point tonight. You enjoyed you tonight, and Ashley, you're gonna always be Ashley. So we appreciate you for that. So yeah, let's continue.
Yeah. I was gonna say it was a pleasure meeting everyone. And Jimmy, you mentioned frat earlier. What frat?
I'm a Kappa.
Okay. I'm an AKA.
Okay, I hear you, Ski Wee. You got it down. I promise you.
Yes.
I hear you. Well, that's good. We had a good show tonight. Like I said, everybody, I appreciate y'all. Every week is good. We're going to continue to have these hard conversations. That's the one I'm going to really consider, Faye, about mothers being jealous of their daughters. I didn't even know that dynamic existed.
Oh, yeah.
So let me do some more research on that one. And we're going to continue to do it. Faye, I hope you'll come back and join us again.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I want your advice in some other situations where we're going to definitely need a counselor that can give us some good advice. And Ashley, appreciate you, baby. Y'all know what I'm about to do, don't you?
Eat that chicken, go fry some chicken.
I'm about to fry some chicken at 12 o'clock at night. I promise y'all I am. But I appreciate y'all. For everybody that's listening, we'll do it again on next week. Y'all remember I tell y'all every week, the world is changing. My question is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night.
All right. So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.